These films are meant to provoke. They're meant to offer an experience rather than an idea or information or a story about a knowable or a fictional subject.
If you can put yourself back into 1978 and looking at those images, several generations have grown up looking at those images, but in 78 they were extremely startling, and it was like looking at the world for the first time.
They're meant fundamentally to stir up enough to actually to create an experience of the subject. It is up for the viewer to take for herself what it is that means. So for some people it's environmental film, for some people it's an ode to technology, for some people it's a piece of shit, for other people it moves them deeply. It depends on who you ask. If someone's trying to figure out why they're watching the film, they're probably not going to get into it. It's more like taking a journey. It is the journey that is the objective, not the end place where we are going.
Earth, air, fire, and water. Those are the four elements. In the alchemical system, those become the basis of all matter. And we can say that the text, image, music are the basis of any kind of interdisciplinary art form, whether it's opera or film or a dance.
I think there's a thread in everyone's life. In my life, I entered a religious community of men at the age of 14, stayed till the age of 28, grew up, in effect, in the Middle Ages, which was remarkably insane and beautiful all at the same time. In other words, it wasn't bad or good, it was bad and good at the same time, this and that. And I felt it gave me a very special preparation for life. The order that I was in prepared me to live a life of humility and service and prayer. And that certainly goes against the grain of, say, 1950s New Orleans culture, which is, let's say, like la dolce vita. So at the tender age of 13, I felt like I had explored that enough, and I was ready to move on through idealism. Like any adolescent, I was inspired by the life of other people whose lives moved me. These were religious men that taught me, so I joined their order. How it influenced my films, I can't say in a specific way, other than I've always been, I guess, interested or motivated in what stands behind the surface of things. And when you're religious and doing meditation and mental prayer and trying to go beyond words into some deep feeling with something that's willful, then it helps you prepare. I guess I had a great preparation for discipline and focus in that mad time. I had come in touch with this extraordinary film by Luis Buñuel called Los Olvidados, and that film moved me, gave me the equivalent of a spiritual experience. That film moving me so much, I felt that I would take that concern into a more plastic form of mass culture through film and through the vehicle of the IRE. The IRE is a term chosen by the members. It means the Institute for Regional Education. We started out to do a mass media campaign on the use of technology and surveillance to control behavior. It was sponsored by the American Civil Liberties Union. And the project worked beautifully in a non-narrative form of visualization being presented on television at prime time, billboards at high traffic density areas, radio at drive time with jingles, and all of which was to gather the attention of the public, which was in an omnipresent gaze in the medium. So if we wanted to get something happening, we would try to put something in that medium, say like a bank or a liquor company or cigarette companies.
Few, if any, of us can understand. Extensive information gathering on every American, human experiments with drugs and psychosurgery, electronic surveillance, the era of the computer, invasion of privacy, growing government and corporate power over our lives, a people plagued by dehumanization, loneliness, and violence. Dramatic? Perhaps. but we are losing control of our technology and our lives.
And that led to the formation and development of the IRE, out of which came our second project, Koyaanisqatsi. We wrote a book, the organization, colleagues and myself. It came into the Sunday supplement as it went out to 125,000 people immediately, was sent to prisons all over the country because it had a lot about prisoner rights and stuff. It's just another way of getting information to the public in a manner whereby it's almost unavoidable. We tried to take this campaign nationally. It failed. As a result, we wanted to continue in a mediated form because it seemed very efficacious. And film became the next journey. I also met Ron Fricke during that time. He was the cinematographer and collaborator on the moving image stuff for television that was done, the PSAs. And I was amazed at his dedication, his artistry, his fanatical attention to detail, unquestionably a master of the highest form, and yet without all of the pollution of the industry. He was an original, an authentic guy out there lensing, a painter, a great sense of color, composition, a mechanical genius. But add to that the brilliance of an eye that's artistic and the sensibility of a very compassionate person who's super disciplined, and you have this monster cinematographer, director. He's also a director now. So he was an absolute godsend for this project. Ron Fricke is a legitimate American genius. Both he and I and our colleagues became so excited during the first period of shooting that I approached my angel and said, look, I mean, we must take this, that we're pushing the envelope. We're trying to do something with no words. Of course, we were all getting very involved and focused on this, and if we did it in 35, we'd have a chance really to come out and be viable in the marketplace, as it were, to slip the grid with some freak show. And the angel went for that, and Ron Fricke and I worked together for almost 6 years to put that together. To be truthful, to work with the likes of Ron Fricke, Philip Glass, my other collaborators, I feel like a blind man getting to work with those that can see. I don't touch anything. I do now have to know about all these things in order to do my job better, but I deal through sensibility, through word, in a medium that's not about words, and at the end of the day nobody cares what my sensibility is. So I'm very lucky to deal like a blind person, like a illiterate person, like a deaf person, through the tremendous talent of these other collaborators. I offer the locations, I talk about how I want to see them, how to approach the subject, how to take the background and make it the foreground. Those are my ideas. But how to realize that, I can only put them there. I expect people and get from people like Fricke an artistic response. He is as involved in the life of this film as I am. Philip Glass is as involved. No one person, no 2 or 3 people made this film. It's the work of many, many, many people. And without the soul of Fricke in there, it wouldn't be present.